Oh, so yesterday made a video, haven't posted yet, about making this man and woman candle. And when I was taking it apart or getting it out of the mold and asked my husband to help me, unfortunately it came apart in two pieces. User error. And so anyway, I now have it back in here melting. So I'll post the other video once I edit it, because it is way too long, but you might as well see my errors and my ways. Might as well. And we're going to redo this. Besides, it didn't turn out red enough. It turned out more like a pastel color. Anyway, so it is what it is, man. But we're going to remelt this and redo it, because that's just part of life. And I gotta get some gloves, because unfortunately, since I messed it up, the wicks are still in it, and I gotta get the wicks out, and I'm gonna just throw them away. I'm sure someone on here will say, well, you can just reuse them. Yeah, probably, but it's just easier for me to throw them away. And I'm still in my pajamas, so you get what you get. It's Saturday, it's 11 a.m. and I'm not doing anything today. Or I'm going to do as little as possible. That's the goal, to do as little as possible today. Play with my crafts and whatever. Oh, that one's still pretty stuck. So when Will, my husband, took this out of was helping me get the last piece out of the mold so I wouldn't get it all over my nails, the man's head broke off. And yeah, now we're back to square one. And today I'm going to wear gloves because I'm tired of digging stuff out from underneath the nails. All you ladies probably understand. Make sure that you're stirring this constantly to make sure that your wax doesn't burn. Now, my husband bought this for me. Again, this came from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby. It was like $18.99 is what this box has it listed for. That's probably what we paid for it. So it comes with the heat warmer. I have mine set on a 1, and once this entire thing melts, I will turn it down to right below a 1. It does stay on. It doesn't have the indicator light saying that it is on, but it is on. And I will turn it, if this was my first time, like yesterday, I would have turned it down to just below 1 and add my oils and color and everything, but this is just rehashing what I did yesterday. But I'm just remelting everything, and I'm not sure if the color will be altered or not. I know I wasn't happy with the color yesterday, so I might have to toy with that. I am, again, still learning to deal with the mica powder, and I know mica powder is heavier. I was able to get one of my candles recently that you guys probably seen. It was a green skull candle. I was able to get that one to take, and it turned out entirely green. And that was me tempering it. So what I did was I colored it completely with the mica powder. And so as I was pouring it, I layered the top of the skull with herbs from my friend and poured in some of the wax and let that start to harden before I poured in more. And it appears that it was holding the color better as I did that. Of course, that night I was multitasking here in the kitchen and had more patience. And I suppose if you're doing that, you probably should have to have more patience. Something I lack a lot of lately. I also, of course, like I said, I do cover my countertops to prevent damaging them, unless you have a dedicated workstation. I don't. I mean, I have an altar, but I don't use that for this. Unfortunately, I use a really expensive countertop for this, and I'm a clumsy person. So, the other things I'll be using are these nifty little candle wick holders. We picked up an entire bag of them. And again, I don't remember how much they cost, but we got them from Hobby Lobby as well. Looks like they were like 99 cents. Honestly, that's pretty cheap. And we do, in my little kit here, I do have the little metal pieces that you normally find in your candles at the bottom of them that hold the wick in, and the little glue dots. I'll be honest, in these types of candles, I don't use those. I have one in one of the candles, and I just don't like it. I do have them in like my jar candles or like the metal tin type candles, because you're pouring directly in, but these are upside down when you're making them. So like you're going to pour directly in and it goes straight to the head, but then when you use the candle and it comes out of the mold, so if I was to use those, the metal would be down here as I'm doing them. The plastic little glue dot things that you buy really wouldn't work for this, and the little metal piece would be just in my way. So I find that it is pointless to use them and quite annoying to cover with the wax, if I'm going to be honest with you. Plus, I just don't freaking like them, so I don't use them. To each his own. I'm just saying, if you don't want to use them, then use them. I know a lot of candles don't. So, we're going to try this again, and let's hope for the best. So look, this mold came without holes in it. So I used really sharp scissors to poke the holes in it. As a matter of fact, it was these. I think these are cuticle scissors. And then, you know, I use a crochet needle and put the wick in. I do the same thing with my skulls. And then I just put a little wax in there and let that sit for a second so that it will seal the holes up, and then I don't have a mess on my hands. The holes aren't big enough to create a big old mess. I haven't created a mess with it like that before. I don't suggest you cut a huge hole in it. Obviously, you can't even see the hole. Like, I'm running my finger through it and you can't even see it. And they don't come with holes on because you can use these for resin and you can use them for soap. They're just normal silicone molds. So that's the reasoning behind that. I also, if I make too much of the wax, I take and put it in a little baggie, and I typically label it. This one doesn't have a label on it, but I do have some that I have left over from other candles I made that I have labeled as to the fragrances in them, so that if I make that fragrance again, I have some that I can add to it, such as the skull candle I made for my friend the other day. I had some leftover wax, and because I had parchment out, I went ahead and poured it out on the parchment and then used that and poured it into a plastic bag, let it dry, and now I have that. I try not to waste any of the additional wax I have left over, simply because you never know if you're going to use that color again or in that fragrance. You might as well keep it. There's no sense in throwing it away, especially with the economy today and everything costing a boatload of money. Now, I bought this particular, actually I got it for free. I got this particular mold from Temu. It was one of those free items, so we're going to see how that works. Hopefully this time it'll come out of this mold without issues. Like I said in my last video, which I have not posted yet, but I promise I will, I just have to cut it down because it ended up being well over 20 minutes. I just let the video run while I was doing everything. So now I gotta cut out pieces that you guys are not going to be interested in seeing. I will leave all my goofs in there. I don't care. If I make fun of them, I do. I make fun of the goofs. Like as my husband was pulling it apart last night and he was rolling the silicone mold down and, on behold, decapitated the dude. Yeah. So I was like, hey, yeah, maybe my candle was a narcissist. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Now, the one thing I will say is I did not add more mica powder or anything to this, but I'm hoping that if I take my time and layer this, that it will have more color this time and it won't be so translucent. If not, then I do have resin color. It's a dye that I can add next time, but I'm not real familiar with it and I don't know how it handles with candles. I know that it was in the candles section along with all the resin stuff and the bath soap stuff, so it's non-toxic and I know I can use it. But I'm not real fond of using stuff like that. I like to, I don't know, stick with stuff that's made specifically for candles. I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm using the mica powder. That was, it does say that I can use it for candles. And I mean, I get it. I don't know, I'm just a little concerned about putting like physical colored dye in candles. I don't know why. It's just, sounds like a hypocrite of me. You know what? Let me go get some roses. Those sound really pretty in here. One second. I'm sitting here making a candle, and it's got rose. So my Adam and Eve ointment, oil that I made. So I said ointment. Maybe I don't know. It has rose oil in it. Oh, that's pretty. How it opened up. I don't even think the smell of roses is pretty. I'm more of a lily kind of girl, but I'm also allergic to this stuff. I like dying today. In the last couple of days, my asthma and allergies have just been killing me. My husband came home yesterday and I was outside working on my magnolia branch and I had on shorts. Of course, he gets on to me because I have broken out. I have like this whelps and bruises, or no, rash all over me because of it. Look at me. I don't care. Deal with me being Krabby Patty. Ugh. Deal with it. You knew what you were marrying. Ladies, we all know. Our husbands or our wives, whoever we married, knew. And they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. They can't play dumb now. Actually, my husband knew exactly what he was getting himself into when he started dating me. So, joke's on him. This is so pretty. I'm wondering if I could set it. Oh my gosh, that is actually a genius idea, Melissa. I wonder if this would work. If all else fails, at least the mica powder would go to the front of the candle and set. So if the color doesn't stay, I'm thinking out loud, guys. If the color wants to settle because it's so heavy, it'll settle to the front of the candle and make the back of the candle translucent. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. When I put it all together, I'll put it back in that. Ugh. Sometimes my geniusness scares me. Sometimes. And I think after I get this candle completed, I will heat it up slightly and put some of this on the outside of it. I swear, sometimes my mere, intelligence level scares me. Because I come up with some kooky ass shit. It does have a really nice wine color to it. My poor allergies are freaking trying to kill me though. So there are 3 holes on here, and it's so that you can put them in different areas if you have different types of candles, which is quite nifty. So yesterday before we tore this all up, I noticed that when I came inside that I had a little divot. And so I reheated what wax was left in the little container. I poured it on top to fill in the little divot and let it set. And that was done off camera. I'm not going to fill this completely to the top. It is probably like barely away from the top. I'm going to do that on purpose because I don't want it touching this metal piece. Once it touches the metal piece, it becomes a pain. It becomes a massive pain because when the metal touches it, you have to pry it off, and then it sometimes leaves this ridge, and then I have to melt the ridge and try to get it to sit flat, and I'm gonna go with it. And so I'm doing a trial and error on this one. So I've already done a trial and error and popped the little guy's head off. So today we're gonna do it like this and see what happens. I have one of these measuring cups. It has a lean to it. One of my favorite. I have probably 5 measuring cups up there. This is my favorite. I even have one that was given to me on my wedding day in 1998 in my first marriage. I still have that one. And I still use it. It's a glass one. It's just not as good as this one. So yeah, I'm going to try to put this in here because, again, if the color... Actually, no. I don't know yet. I'm going to sit here and think about it. I might put it in there and lean it forward. Because, again, my thought is that if in the event that the mica powder decides to settle because of the weight of the mica powder, it will fall. Because it's so much heavier than the wax. So, of course, gravity's going to take over. And it's going to pull it all the way down to the head of the mold. And so, therefore, the rest of it's going to be like a light pastel color. And then all the color's going to be at the head. It doesn't change the power of this candle because I still set my intent in the essential oils that I made. The candle is still effective. And then, of course, if I use this in a ritual, I would still carve the names of the people and the date of birth. So I would still put any carvings that needed to go on it. I would still do that, and it would still be just as effective. But I really like a nice, pretty red candle. So I'm kind of debating. This is a trial run again, so I don't know if I want to fool with trying to set it on its side, like at a tilt, and try to make it red towards the front, or if I'm just going to let it sit here. The more and more I sit here and talk about it out loud, the more and more I don't want to move it because it is warm wax, and I don't really feel like cleaning up wax. So I think I've talked myself out of moving it, because again, if I screw it up, I can just make another one. That's the glories of doing this at home, right? So I think I'm going to let this set, and we'll come back here in a little while and see how it turned out. Now, I do have some other molds. We got the Veiled Woman, which we've already seen with that. I've got just regular octagons. And these are so pretty. I got bees. I got honeycombs and bees. And then I've got tapers. I've got just regular metal tin candles, more skulls. So if there's something that you want to see, I will be glad to do one. I'm dying to do these. I just don't know what color I want to do them yet. And of course, we're now dabbling in resin. So I kind of want to do some resin too. My husband did a resin clock. It's not perfect. It's not a clock. Sorry, not a clock. It's a calendar. One second, I'll grab it. It's so cute. How cute is this? I mean, yes, it's not perfect, and he's got a little stuff messed up here, but it's really cute. And you know, you can move it and turn it to whatever, and like, look how cute that is. He didn't do too bad of a job. Yeah, it's got a little bit of, but you know what? It's his first time doing resin, and I gotta give him. I bought him this mold. I didn't think he would do it. I thought I was gonna have to return it, but he did a good job. He did a really good job. And to put something like this together when he was busy doing other stuff and he has a really hard job, he did a good job. So I'm going to encourage him to make more, and hopefully we can come up with a better solution for this, which I think I can come up with his painting of the letters, and maybe we can just pour it in, and then I can sit and hand paint it, because I have a little more patience, and I do have much smaller hands than him. It's massive hands. Anyway, but in my opinion, it was really cute, and he can then turn it and see the different moon phases and different days of the weeks and the different months and the different days, and I think he did a great job. Then again, I'm biased, so he's getting into the resins. I'm doing the candles and oils and wands, and yet my craft room upstairs is a hot mess of all my sewing and all my knitting and all my crocheting and all my pew-pews laying all over the place. It's just a hot mess up there. Thank God we're an empty nest, right? But we'll be back later to show you the end result of this candle. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can get this out in one piece. It does not look like it turned out red, but it is what it is. Like I said, this is just a learning process. And for those who know me know I'm obsessed with gloves. I cook with gloves on, and basically do everything with gloves on. A little germaphobe, I mean, sometimes, but also to protect my own nails. So this, they just slide right out. And like I said before, poking the little holes, it doesn't really leak all over like you would think. So this is what it looks like. Now I've had really good success with the skulls and the veiled woman. Some of the other things that I've made. This, again, this is the first time I've used this particular mold. It's brand new. Just started trying to use it yesterday. And I know that there is the mold release, but I really can't pronounce the items that are in it, so I'm not real keen on using things like that. So, okay, I got her head out, and it seems that we're going to have trouble with his head again. 1 second. Okay, got them out of the mold. Fine. So, this is what they look like. Now, what we need to do is trim all the wicks. And I did leave my scissors out, which I rarely do. So I'm going to cut the bottom wicks completely level. Now, there's probably a better way. I will light the bottom of this just to melt the wax a little bit. And I run it across tinfoil to level the surface so that I can ensure that it will sit level. Nobody wants a wonky candle. And because it's soy, it's easy. So, and also because it's soy, you will have like little pieces that you need to like kind of brush in, because there are some imperfections that will happen. The soy's like lotion, right? So you can brush them off and clean them up a little bit. Or like I'm going to do here in a minute, I'm going to melt the candle, like heat it up a little bit and add a couple of roses to it. Just because I think that would be pretty. But this is what it currently looks like. Now we need to give them a little bit of a haircut, because nobody needs these tall wicks. And that's what you want. Now, also, isn't this a cute little knife? I've had this for years. My husband bought it for me when him and our friend went out camping. And this knife has been used for everything. Killing fish, gutting fish, scaling fish, pulling bark off of tree branches. Yep. So, got a little rose right here, and I am going to brush it up on my foil. And all I am going to simply do is get them a little warm. You do not have to do a lot of heat. And it will stick to it. Then I'm going to do the front. And it's just that simple. Of course, my hands are a little... And there you have it, guys. My relationship candle.